Hello, I'm Sue Moorcroft. This is my new book, Christmas Wishes, which will be released in October as an ebook and in November in paperback and audio. It's set between England and Sweden, and I'm very fortunate that an author friend of mine, Christina Courtney, is British-Swedish, and she invited me to Sweden with her to stay with her mum to do some research. What I'm going to read out is part of chapter 1. It concerns Hannah and Nico. They knew each other 18 years ago when Nico was the best friend of Rob, Hannah's brother. Now Hannah's got a shop in Gamla stan, which is the old town of Stockholm, and it's selling lots of luxury goods, and he's tracked her down there. And she's so concerned over his appearance. He's very gaunt and dirty. His coat looks like he's been sleeping in a hedge, that she twists his arm to come to a burger bar with her so she can kind of feed him up. I apologise to any Swedish people listening for my pronunciation of a couple of words. Language skills are not my biggest thing. They made their way downhill through cobbled streets, between tall, narrow buildings, illuminated shop windows displaying glowing amber jewellery, burnished copper, souvenir elks or tomte, the pointy-hatted gnomes reputed to live beneath Swedish houses. Hannah talking and Nico listening, they passed gracious cafes and restaurants with blackboards offering fika, afternoon tea, and tempting meals, all places Hannah dismissed in view of Nico's expressed discomfort about his appearance. A frosty breeze snapped at them as they turned into Gamla stan's main street, Västerlånggatan, still busy with shoppers and tourists bundled up in coats. When they reached Burger Town's red frontage, Hannah undid her coat as they stepped into its brightly lit interior of chattering people enjoying a fast food fix. I'm having halloumi bites with fries, coffee and a brownie. What about you? Nico shuffled awkwardly and glanced at the illuminated menu just above the counter. Just coffee. He looked so uneasy that Hannah's neck prickled. No food? She added encouragingly. It's my treat. He looked at her as if she was speaking Martian. No food, he agreed, then added tautly, thank you. Right, okay. She felt her cheeks heat. She was doing this all wrong. Nico obviously suspected that she was trying to do him a favour, and his pride had kicked in. Damn, she wanted to help, not hurt. Why don't you grab a table while I queue? He nodded, then headed for a booth, pulling off his coat. Hannah ordered far more food than she needed. A large meal, a side of town wings, and 2 cinnamon buns. Gathering ketchup and mayo, she joined Nico. Even scruffy and underfed, he still garnered second glances, she noticed, as she put down the tray of food. 2 nearby women were obviously discussing him as though they were schoolgirls. She sat down, hoping she wasn't disappointing his admirers too much, dragged off her coat and started on the first wrapper. They made a mistake and gave me a large meal instead of medium, and the buns are 2 for the price of 1, so I thought I might as well get one for you. If you don't want it now, you can take it with you. Aware of rushing the fibs out, she dipped a fry in ketchup and popped it in her mouth. It was hot and burned the back of her tongue, making her voice hoarse as she pushed the pack invitingly across the table. Want some? No point it going to waste. Slowly, Nico took a fry and ate it. Then he removed the lid from his coffee and sipped. It was Hannah's turn to feel uncomfortable. When Nico had turned up at Hannah Anna Boutique, he'd appeared, apart from the skin and bones look, happy to see her. Now he was frowning and giving the food dirty looks, discouraging her from nudging him again to eat. She thought about asking after his family, particularly Lars, who she'd known quite well, but people in trouble often isolated themselves from loved ones. Then, interrupting her thoughts, Nico slapped down his coffee, propped his folded arms on the table and leaned close, his voice low and rapid. I'm sure you mean well, Hannah, but trying to force feed somebody doesn't work. Rob's obviously told you my situation. I'm disappointed that he'd betray her confidence, but I suppose he's got his head full of wedding plans. Hannah had to chew and swallow before she could answer. Your situation? She asked evasively, before adding truthfully, I didn't know you'd been in touch with Rob. He sighed in the exaggerated manner of those who know they're dealing with prevarication and leaned closer still. The outdoorsy smell of him wasn't unpleasant. If you need it spelling out, yes, my marriage ending did trigger my eating disorder, but I'm fine. I'm a normal weight and functioning perfectly well. It was so far from what she'd expected that Hannah gaped, her voice squeaking. Eating disorder? I thought you might be homeless. Then, realising she'd blurted out her thoughts, stuttered, well, maybe not homeless, but homeless? He looked thunderstruck, his blue eyes ablaze. Why on earth would you think that? Hannah fidgeted with a halloumi bite. What should she say? You look a half-starved mess. He shook the tension from his shoulders with an obvious effort. I'm not homeless. I'm a key account director for the London branch of a Swedish company, SLS. We're in sports memorabilia and promotions. Winter sports is our core business, but we're gradually expanding our reach. I live in Islington in London with my daughter Josie, work in Holborn and travel to Sweden once or twice a month. Then he glanced down at himself and his expression lightened. He even laughed. Oh, the clothes! It's an SLS community initiative. We facilitate kids' activities, and because I had to be here for meetings on Friday and Monday, I stayed the weekend and participated. Today we took a busload of children to Heater Holmesparken. I was with the 8 to 10-year-olds at the outdoor gym and woodland trails. I've been crawling under trees, pretending to be a lion. The angry grooves around his eyes relaxed into laughter lines. I see, Hannah breathed, overdoing the sigh of relief. Though it was fantastic to know he wasn't sleeping in dumpsters, no way in the world was he a normal weight for a man his height. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a fantastic Christmas.